thank you for the resubscribe, Mahina, of 32 months. Good lord, I've really been going for that long. Also, hello Jolly, hello Dream. How's everybody doing? I forgot to click buttons. I am the smart. I forgot to click that button too. Yeah, you didn't see anything. You didn't see anything. Hello. How's everybody doing? How's everybody's hump day been? Well, I hope. Sorry, I'm also trying to get need to find a thing. Gonna be adding something. Mm-hmm. Doing good, doing good. That's good. Sorry, I'm looking at something and wondering if it's going to work or not. It's only available as a browser extension. Okay. Series available support for Firefox and Chrome. Opera GX, Microsoft Edge, and other Chromium-based browsers that support Chrome extensions are not officially supported, although you can still install the extension on them, but please be understanding that supporting many browsers is a difficult task just for one person. Extension uses a 5-minute cache to reduce load on the servers. Maybe mean that some... Sorry, again, kind of slightly distracted. Because I have seen and gonna try out. Unfortunately, it's only in a browser format, so it doesn't, and I usually look at my Twitch chat through Streamlabs OBS. So doesn't really do like it might work if I keep up the actual Twitch chat as well, but there's an extension that you can sign into. You can download it onto your browser. It's made for Chrome and Firefox, but Opera GX, which is what I use, technically can use Chrome things, but it's basically the Twitch chat pronouns. So you can actually go in here, sign into your Twitch account, and then you can put how you like to be, what your pronouns are, and submit it. And then if the streamer you're watching also has this extension on and they have the Twitch chat pulled up as well, through their browser, again, it will when you chat in their Twitch chat, next to your name, you will see the pronouns that you have given. And so they can see that for every single one of their chatters. And it also, if you have it and you're on watching their stream, it will show you as well how other people's pronouns are. So I was just, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's being made by one dude who's making it or working on it. But at least one person. Let me rephrase that. One person. No, I think that's really cool. And for some people, it kind of helps them to, you know, if they, you know, because I mean, you see a name and it could be anything, and so you're like, I don't know how I should, you know, how do you present yourself, you know, anything like that. So having something like that is pretty helpful. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, exactly. Even if they choose to use, because that's the other thing. Like, you can say, you know, like, I mean, they have all manner of pronoun options. And they're probably adding more, you know, as they work on them. But yeah, so you can, like, some of these I've heard of, some of these I have not. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool. Even have it and its. He, theys, he, she's, he, him, she, they, she, her, they, them, he, her, he, him. Yeah, pretty cool. And, you know, you don't have to. That's the other thing. Like, you don't have to submit for it if you don't want to. It's totally up to you. Just thought it was something cool and interesting. Oops, did not mean to bring that up. But yeah, so like I said, since I use Opera GX, I'm kind of giving it a little try. Also, I'm still kind of killing a little time before finding out what game that hopefully my computer can run. We shall see. It is a bit unfortunate that the pronouns thing doesn't work in any of the capture programs. It's not an extension that can be put in them. Chicken bones. Yeah. By the way, Mahina, it's funny. Papa Strix sent me that text message about 2 minutes, or like less than a minute after I hit the go live button. I was like, oh, I can't really talk about anything at the moment. I love Secret of Mana so much, and I love this song. This song is winter Christmas to me. because I grew up in Hawaii, so there was no snow, and I always wanted to see snow growing up. I always wanted to see snow. Because every time we would go visit family, the only time we could go was in the summer. So we would go to, you know, to Panhandle of Texas in the middle of the summer, which was hot as fuck. You know, so I always wanted to see snow. And so anytime a game would have snow in it, or like a winter, you know, winter map or whatever, I was like, oh, it's so pretty, it's so cool. And Secret of Mana's, let's listen to it again because it's so good. Like, I hear this, and I just think winter, and I think Christmas and snow, and I love it. I love it. Oh my God, Slava Snow Show. That was so much fun. So, okay, here, let me pull this up real quick. It's time for some Dara story time. Like I said, always wanted to see snow. It didn't really snow in Hawaii. There was very, very few chances that there would be snow on the Big Island up in like on Mauna Kea or Mauna Loa. But that was primarily because those mountains are tall. They're fucking huge. And so very rarely would we get snow up there. But you know, it was an elevation thing. And I remember, oh, how old was I? I was in junior high, wasn't I? No. Yes? No, I was in elementary. It was like 5th or 6th grade, I think. My parents, Mahina and Papa Strix, it was Christmas Eve. And they told us, hey, get ready, get dressed, dress fairly nice, not super fancy, but fairly nice. I'm gonna make it, my dad was like, I'm gonna make it snow. I'm gonna give you snow on Christmas Eve. And I was like, wait, what? Like, yeah, come on, we're gonna go see snow. Come on, it's time for snow. And me and my sister was just like, what? No. Like, come on, let's get in the car and let's go. And so I'm thinking like, maybe we're going to like the ice rink or something, or maybe like someplace has like a snow blower, like a artificial snow machine or something. We're both racking our brains, and my dad's just like, don't worry about it. You guys wanted snow. I'm gonna make it snow on Christmas or Christmas Eve. And we're just like, what? And we go downtown, and we're driving through, and we're like, what? Where? And we go to the I believe it was the Blaisdell. Basically, it was like local one of the theater, big theater places there in Hawaii. And we're waiting in line, and we have no idea what the hell this is. It was it was the Honolulu Theater. We have no idea what this is. Like, my parents were keeping it super tight-lipped and secret. I don't even think they had. I think it wasn't until we were like, because the line was pretty long, and it wasn't until we got kind of up closer to the entrance that they were handing out. We got pamphlets, and we saw the sign, and it was for Slava's Snow Show. And Slava was he Ukrainian, or was it Russian? I don't remember where, but it's a old school clown. They were Ukrainian. Okay. Yeah. So he was an old school clown performance show. Slava was the grandfather or father of the whole show, or of the troupe, and it was this wonderful show about, like, there was no talking, it was all, traditional, like performance, like clown performance, but it told this story of, basically living through, harsh winters, and, finding warmth through family, and, the joys, but then the harshness of reality sometimes hits with the cold and the dark. But then you have, like, it was just this, it's hard to explain how it was, and like how, like, it was beautiful, it was wonderful. And I was a kid, I was tiny. I'm not tiny, but I was young, and even then I was like, I love this. The snow in the show was actually like, pieces of like tissue paper that was like cut into, like little squares and rhombuses and stuff, and like, but they would like, like the whole show, it was so cool, and it was so beautiful. And my parents kept it so under wraps because they had bought the tickets like months in advance. They had heard about it. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And like, one of my, like, the whole thing I love, but one of the parts that stands out the most was it was a sort of intermission kind of thing, kind of pseudo intermission thing, where Slava and, oh, you didn't even know, it was just dad was the one who, okay. See, I had always thought that the both of you were in on it, but it was just him. Ah, that's sneaky fuck. See, my dad he is a sly, sneaky little bastard. But man, he pulls off some great shit. But one of my favorite parts of the show was, like I said, it was kind of a pseudo intermission, but like, it was just like they closed the curtains, and it was, nothing really was on stage except Slava himself. And it was just him doing fun little gags and things. Again, absolutely no talking. And it was just him, doing fun little things, interacting with the audience a little bit. Like, it was the most wonderful experience. And the sad part for me was, oh yeah, then they had the giant snowballs that, like, inflatable balls kind of thing, that they released out into the crowd and let them bounce around, and the crowd could bounce them and everything. It was fun. And we weren't front row, but we were fairly, like, we weren't in the nosebleed section. We were kind of in the middle ground of the whole audience. They were really good seats. Not close enough to be part of the interactive, aspects, but not far enough back to where it was, like I said, nosebleed sections or anything. But it was what? Was it like 15 years ago? Slava passed away. I mean, he was, he wasn't a spry chicken when we went and saw him. He had been doing it for quite a few years. But he had passed away, and his grandchildren, I think, continued the show. And the other thing that was so interesting about the performance was every single night, every single performance was different. Not drastically different, but just different enough to where if you went and saw it, every single performance that they had while it was there, you would have had a different experience every single time, which, to be honest, is pretty cool. And like, I think that show, along with when my sister was in high school and did some drama performances, those were the ones that really made me kind of go, I want to do that. I like the idea of being up somewhere or being somewhere, even this, and doing something performative to entertain. Like, I want to entertain people, and I love that idea. I love that passion. And that, so I find this is kind of a nice little, my current outlet for that, of like, would I want to do more? Yes, I would love to do more. When I go into VR chat, I kind of would like to, I would love to try joining some RP groups on VR chat. Oh, thank you, Dream. I find a lot of my stuff tends to be things like this, rants or storytelling kind of stuff. Yeah, Slava Snow, and again, like, they're touring France this year in Australia. Nice. That's cool. I'm glad they're still doing it. I'm glad they're still going. It was a wonderful show. And like I said, my dad is my dad is sneaky. He's so sneaky. Because like I said, the thing is, me and my sister didn't even hear anything about this on the radio. Like, we had no idea the show was even in town. Because, I mean, one, we were young and wasn't really paying attention much. But also, like, yeah, they advertised it, but not that much, to be honest. So when my dad was like, yeah, I'm going to make it snow on New Year's Eve. And we were like, what? But I mean, the man is also, in my 35 years of existence, me and my sister, and any of us really, have only surprised him one time. Like, truly surprised and shocked him, like he had no idea. And that was last year. It was my parents' 40th anniversary, or 41st. No, it was your 40th, right? Yeah, it was your 40th. Yeah, okay. It's their 40th wedding anniversary, and me and my sister and my brother-in-law, the year before had actually, we had been discussing it a couple of years before, because the original plan was we were going to surprise them with a trip to Disneyland. Like, we were going to do a 40th anniversary celebration with my parents in Disneyland. But some fundings kind of went a little wild, and, things went a little screwy, and we were like, no, and then COVID hit, and we're like, you know what? We're going to do something else. So basically, we surprised them by flying back home to Hawaii, and essentially sneaking into their house. My cousin who lives there, she got us in, was like, she was our inside operative, and man, she was good, but she hated it. But we flew in unbeknownst to them. They were out of the house getting like groceries or something, and we got snuck into their house and sat there and waited for them to come home and surprised them. And my mom, she was of course shocked and surprised, but the one that got us the most was my father, because like I said, the man, every Christmas we couldn't get him a gift because he knew exactly what he was getting. I kind of know how he knows what he's getting for Christmas is because like throughout the entire year, he'll say like one, maybe two things that he's like showing interest in that, and it's like, oh, okay, well, let's get him that for Christmas. And then he's like, yeah, thanks for this. And it's like, and he hasn't even opened the present. And he's like, oh yeah, no. It's like, oh, well, open your gift. And he's like, oh no, I know what it is. It's like, well, what is it? And he'd say what it was. And he's like, you son of a, but that time when he walked in that door and saw us and just complete stunned shock of like, what? To the point where, because my mom, like I said, was shocked and surprised. And as usual, she thought my dad was in on it. And she turned to look at him and he's got that shocked look and she just goes, you didn't know either? It was like, nope. No one knew except for, and I even like, because me and my dad work for the same company, I even had to tell my boss. I was like, look, I had to tell my entire office coworkers, like, look, because at my job, if I want PTO, if I'm taking time off, I have to put on a calendar that basically the whole department can see. But this was supposed to be a surprise. And so I told my boss, I was like, look, I'm going to be taking from this time to this time off because I'm going to go do this. And he's like, okay, yeah, put it on the calendar. It's like, no. Let me explain. And I was like, I can't put it on the calendar because it's a surprise and I don't want my dad figuring it out. And so my boss was like, that's genius. I love it. Okay. And so he put like on whiteboard, like, and everybody had to put on whiteboards in the office of like, okay. And I was like, do not mention anything. Like I even went into work the day before I flew out because the day before I flew out, was a day of the week that we have a phone meeting where the entire department gets in a phone meeting and we talk about stuff. So I even showed up on that day to sit in that phone meeting so that my dad wouldn't suspect because if I don't show up, a lot of times my dad will be like, hey, you feeling okay? Did you stay home from work? Like, are you sick or whatever? And it's like, no, I had to show up to be like, no, everything's fine. Everything's great. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, we went to so many links. Yeah, none of my coworkers gave any hints, none of that. And the funny thing is, here's how much of my dad always finds out. Even while I was sitting on the airplane flying over, I was sitting there like, he's gotta know, right? Like, he has to have figured something. Something's telling me he knows. Nope. We got him. We surprised the old man. And that was wonderful. So that's the one time in my 35 years of existence, that was the one time we were able to actually surprise my dad. Okay, enough chit-chatting, story time. It's time to find out what game we are going to be streaming today. So we've done Deer Simulator, Dark Tide, Bubble Bobble, Grounded, Midnight Ghost Hunt, and Okami. It was golden. Oh, it was glorious. And now we are going to be streaming looks like I'm doing some Power Wash Simulator. Here's the funny thing. I kind of did played Power Wash Simulator on my own after the last time I streamed it, because I got really into it, and I was also kind of like in a bit of a down mood, and I was just wanted to meditate and not really think about anything. And I kind of beat Power Washer Simulator. So I know how it ends. Get hosed? Yeah. Now I kind of feel dumb because I did that whole story time and I could have used that while doing Power Wash Simulator. So yeah, I kind of know how the ending of Power Wash Simulator. I've seen it. I mean, I don't mind. I don't even remember the last time I streamed it where I left off. The first of your streams I tuned into, you were playing that. Oh, really? Thanks. I don't. That's nice. I don't even remember where I last left off. For you guys, I mean, like I said, I beat it. I beat it. All right, well, Power Wash Simulator it is. I was. I guess I shall also be coming up with some more stories and rants to talk about. Also, I really hope that this doesn't. Important memory for you. Oh, I appreciate that. That's sweet. I really hope that it doesn't kill my computer. Because even though I've streamed it before, doesn't mean my computer's gonna like it. But we'll find out. The cool thing was on the way to the snow show. Remember the clouds made Santa's sleigh? Oh yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah, as we were driving, downtown to go to the show for the Slava Snow Show. And it wasn't like a small cloud. Like it was a large group of clouds, and it straight up looked like Santa's sleigh and a couple of reindeer were pulling it. Like it was pretty cool. Yeah, that night was fun. That night was great, and I absolutely loved it. All right, make sure it's capturing the correct game. There we go. Now I'm trying to think of. Oh, I also need to change what game I'm playing, because Twitch doesn't really like it if you don't do that. Power Wash Simulator. Also, you may hear me snacking on something. I may or may not have commandeered off of, because at my office, my workplace, they put up a couple of Christmas trees, for the festive spirit, and I was the last one to leave the office, and I may or may not have stolen one of my absolute favorite holiday treats, a candy cane. I fucking love candy canes. I love the peppermint flavor, because it's just that right perfect amount of, because I like mint. I love mint, but it has to be a sweet mint, and not like overly sweet, not like sickeningly sweet, mint, but I've had mint where it's just like, oh, you know, um, here's this mint to you know, freshen the breath or whatever, and it's like pure mint, no sugars or anything, and it's like, no, I need that little bit of sweetness to it. Because like it also depends on like, because there's peppermint and spearmint, and I like both of them if they're on a certain sweet side, because I've had spearmint stuff that does not have any kind of sweetness to it and it's gross, and I've had peppermint that has not had any sweetness to it and it's gross. Wintergreen, I'm not a huge fan of wintergreen. It's like the one mint flavor that I'm like, can take it or leave it. But spearmint and peppermint really depends. I would have to taste it first to see, because like I've had some spearmint gum that's gross, but spearmint gum, actual spearmint gum is fucking delicious, you know. So it's really hit or miss, but I love candy canes. Christmas candy canes are so good, and I apologize because I'm gonna be sucking on it for the rest of the stream. I think, oh, also I'm trying to decide of like, I feel like I should change up the music. I still want to keep like a wintry theme, but I want like winter game music like I've got going. York peppermint patties are good. I actually saw a B. Dylan Hollis TikTok where he makes peppermint patties from scratch, like the original recipe, and they're super simple to make, real easy. And he's like, that's it, why are we buying these? Just fucking make them yourself. Well, he doesn't say fucking, but he's like, just make them yourself, it's so simple. And it's like super simple. You make just like almost like a shoe paste, well, almost like a gum paste dough kind of thing, and you roll it out, you chill it for a little, you know, like chill it in the fridge or the freezer for a bit, and cut out little circles, and then chill those as well, and then cover them in chocolate, and you add your peppermint flavoring to the dough, to the creamy dough center stuff, and you add however much you want, whatever sweetness and stuff you want to it, and then you cover them in chocolate, and that's it. Yeah. But my absolute favorite, and it sucks because I don't really like supporting them because I think they're exploitative and child labor bullshit, but I fucking love Girl Scout cookie Thin Mints. Oh, they're so good. They're so good. Those are my addiction. I have eaten sleeves of them all by myself in like one sitting. It's one of those like, want some Girl Scout cookies? Give me every single box of Thin Mints you own. Hello, Mega. Oh, since you're here, give me some of the Christmassy music stuff that you were listening to, the links to the YouTube, because I would like to listen to them while doing Power Washer Simulator. Because As much as I love what I'm listening to, it's only an hour and 2 minutes and we're already 45 minutes into it. And this is cleaning to Xmas music. Hell yeah. I'm surprised there's not like a Christmas update to this game. You know what? Like I said, I beat it in my off time. Let's just start this all over from the beginning. We'll start back in the very first one. Clean the van. No, I want to. Doesn't. Huh? Wait, I can't go back and redo 3 videos. That's like 3 hours of music. Hell yeah. All right, we'll go with. No, wrong one. We'll go with this one first. Ooh. Hey, thank you for the shout out from Mega. Let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. And they need to add a new level where you clean Santa's sleigh. Oh yeah. I mean, they let you go do the Mars rover. Do they not let you? I have to go into free play in order to do it? Alright, fine. Settings should help reset any progress. Yeah, fine. Whatever. Oh, Santa's workshop. That would be great. Yeah, you can clean the Mars rover. I've got $9 to my name. Some new items in here. Oh yeah, but I've already got that. Why? Yeah. Oh, that would be cool if it was like a little mini story thing of like, first you start off cleaning, say, you know, this like maybe it's first you clean the sleigh, then you clean, say, the reindeer stables, then you clean Santa's house, then you clean, you know, the workshop, the actual workshop itself. That'd be cool. A long dark. Clean the sleigh the day after Christmas. Yeah. A long dark snow themed survival game. Right. I'm just trying to think, like, I remember the name, but I don't think I remember the game itself. Bing. What about now, Benson? I've got that stuck in my head. I don't know why, but I do. Speaking of sleds, how's your sleigh coming along in Minecraft, Manga? I know I was in your chat, but you know, being I do some conversating slow, but then again, most of my time, the time my builds are, yeah. I mean, because I do like how the way you like to do these Christmas builds, the ADHD. I like how the way you do these Christmas builds is you do it like it's, you know, you don't go into creative mode. You go and find the actual resources, you know, and so you have been having to find and collect so much clay to make into terracotta or concrete or whatever you're making it of. Man, when you have the top tier freaking power wash gun, makes this kind of easy. It's Alex seeing creative. Yeah, gonna get them flowers. Collects clay. Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't, like, especially because you're gonna need so much red for the clay. I'm surprised that you haven't just like made a little garden and get a bunch of bone meal and grow a bunch of the red flowers. I have one of the big ones now. Oh, that shouldn't be an issue anymore. Hell yeah. Oh, this is FF14. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. Dun, dun. I've heard this song so much. You did the same thing I did. Listen. The FF14 soundtrack is really fucking good, right? The chicken tendies are ready to fry. I have it going in stereo because I'm in F14 right now. Oh god, I forgot to wash the front windshield. Now I'm trying to think of other fun little stories to talk about while I'm power washing. Ba, 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 ba. Ding. I haven't logged into FF14 in a bit. Kind of been obsessed with the, not really obsessed, but I've been streaming, you know, the God of War series, and now I'm streaming, who knows, every day for, you know, for advent calendar stuff. And whenever I'm not streaming something, I tend to jump onto Fortnite because the new season of Fortnite is actually really fucking good. Like in the new season of Fortnite, they've added essentially like perks, Call of Duty style perks that you can get every single time a match starts. As once a certain amount of time has passed in the match, everybody gets the option to pick between two perks, and they're randomized. You can like re-roll them to hopefully get a different choice. And then as more time passes, you'll get another option to pick more another perk. So like the longer you last throughout a match, the more perks you'll get, until you get, I think, a max of like 4 or 5 perks in a match. By the end, you usually have like 4 or 5. The weapons that they've added are really fucking good and tight. The hammer, oh my god, that freaking hammer that they added is so good. Because it, like, it's a good weapon to fight against other players, but it's also a wonderful traversal item. ADHD is like, I was doing my Blender course, came in here for a moment, and suddenly I caught myself browsing TikTok. Fuck. Yeah, the TikToks can do that, and ADHD can also do that. Is this World of Warcraft? Elder Scrolls. Close enough. Job completo. Right, so we did a vehicle. Now we do a location, the backyard. Same vibe. Yeah. Like, I'm honestly getting Dalaran vibes and like Lich King vibes from this one. Oh yeah, Mega. Kotaku sent me a link I might look into whenever I asked you about the whole chat TTS thing that for Twitch chat. I might look into it, and it might be the one that I was thinking of. And if it is, I'll send it your way. It's like you and Sinasu can take a look at it. Because I do like the idea of chat being able to like have something here to represent y'all, and then, you know, if you want to text to speech something, have the little creature or whatever say something, because it's kind of funny some of the things that people get them to say. Especially because like I saw one where um the chat can like, I don't know if it's like a certain command or if it just randomly does it, but it'll like do this like weird, almost creepy kind of like whisper voice. And some of the shit that it says is fucking hilarious. Yeah, it might be worth a look. Hell yeah. Because like I said, it's funny. I had been thinking about that. It's like, should I do something like that? Be kind of, would I want to? Would it, go with the aesthetic that I'm trying to, build or whatever? Or not aesthetic, but like brand or whatever. And then like a couple days later on your stream, you mention it. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. Seen some people have it set up so it does famous voices. Haha. Like the Elder Scrolls card. From voice critical. Okay. That would be pretty funny. Also, Mega, because, as you know, I was lurking in your chat earlier tonight. You want to build some lore, some quote unquote lore for yourself. I might be able to help you out with that if you just throwing it out there. Get some ideas. Lore! Because I also like your idea of having like fake commercial ads for products and stuff. Because what I think would be funny is, because I can help you with that too, and make a whole bunch of like fake products and fake commercials and stuff. Because then you could let other people in the GPAC, like Mako, and some of them fake, some of them real. Oh yeah, but like Mako, myself, Frosted, Possession, anybody else, in the GPAC, we could have like little Easter egg things on our streams of those fake products and fake things. Because then people be like, what is that? What is that? And it's like, so like I plan to also have ads for my friends' streams or my various things like Throne or TikTok. Hell yeah. Okay, see, that's cool. That is good. Macaroni and cheese. That's genius, Mega. That's fucking genius. Because I also like your whole idea of having it be like old VHS tapes. Because I mean, your intro that you do for your channel, for your Twitch, also already kind of has like a VHS channel flipping vibe to it anyway, so it would make perfect sense for you to have. Yeah, I've lots in mind for making everything fall into the theme a bit better. Hell yeah. Yeah, because you're, like I said, your intro video already has that kind of flipping through channels vibe and aesthetic, so totally would work. I need to like look into like find people and look into someone who I could talk with and like, of course, pay to because remember the other night I was saying I need to like, I'm kind of want to look into swapping over to just pure OBS and not use Streamlabs. Downside to that is the notifications and things that I use in Streamlabs, like the little when someone donates, follows, all that kind of stuff, that's all from Streamlabs. so I don't have any assets for my own stuff. So if I were to make those in OBS, I would have to literally make them. Yeah. I have some ideas for some, but like I said, I would need to like find an animator mostly who could, you know, I could pay to animate, because I have idea for like a follow. Well, look into stream elements. I do have stream elements. I just haven't really done anything with it. Same deal, but using a browser source. Oh, yeah. You can set up overlays and shit. Nice. Oh. Yeah, like I said, I have stream elements. I just haven't ever really looked into it. All I ever get from stream elements, to be honest, is them being like, hey, there's a sponsor deal. You want to give it a try? And I'm like, it's for Raid Shadow Legends. Fuck no. But like, I have kind of an idea of like, if someone follows, I want to have like, I would think it'd be kind of cool to have like a little animation of like the on-screen chat I have is using them. Oh. Have like a, sorry, I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit. Oh, Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori of the Will of the Wisps is a game I have both of them, I think, but I've never played them, and I want to play them. With stream elements, you can set up the 7TV emotes and such. 7TV? What is 7TV? OMG, I have the second and haven't gotten it. 7TV is a chat plugin for the browser. Oh. Yeah, there's a ton, like, I definitely need to do, like, kind of like what you were saying, not necessarily a full rebrand, but I definitely need to put in, like, do some more, like, put some work in and get, like, better consistencies and things. Because, like I said, for the follow emotes, I kind of, you know, or follow notification, I kind of like the idea of, you know, like an onsen door opening, you know, and it's like, you know, welcome in kind of thing. If someone subscribes, I kind of want like a little, kind of like my little emotes that Jelly made, you know, of Ari, you know, but like a little anime like that, but of a little animation of her like popping up and like holding out her hand, and a little membership card like swirls in and appears and it's like, hey, you know, here's your membership to the onsen, or the tea house or whatever. I kind of would like the idea of a raid animation being of like Ari kind of like standing at the reception desk or whatever, and then just like, or you know, like or like at the bar, or like the you know, tea bar or whatever, and then like just a wave of customers suddenly showing up, and just like, and it's like, hello. You know, just little animations like that. But again, I would have to find an animator who would be willing to do it, and I again would have to pay them, because don't have people do shit for free. Pay what you're worth. We need to go to the next level. Super stream 2. Yes, but then once we reach that level, then we need to find a stream to go even further beyond. Because like, I also need to like take the time to actually like, I have a stream deck, but I hardly use the damn thing because I don't have anything set up for it. I was like, I need to like actually like sit down and take the time to like flesh shit out and get shit working. I also, because I know, you know, from some people that I watch their streams, um, through like say sound alerts or, you know, whatever, you can actually set up to where if, and I know you have them as well, Mega, if people donate or, you know, whether it's a bit donation or a, whatever other application donation they go through, if people donate specific amounts, then certain animation, like little, you know, donation animations will play, and like certain sound bites will play as well. And I kind of like the idea of, for the, if someone donates 1 bit, which I'm fine with, like, I'm not like making fun or, you know, like belittling or anything, but I like the idea of that Twitch VR avatar, VR chat avatar that we have, where it's the one, hi Ray, if you hold out the credit card and then do the 1 bit, it just goes like, and it spits out 1 tiny little bit. I like the idea of having that, of like, you know, this super dramatic what, and then hold out the card and just how are you doing, Ray? I'm just kind of, I have been forced to play Power Wash Simulator on stream, which I have done before. However, in my off time, I've also beaten Power Wash Simulator, so I've decided to just go back and replay through all of Power Wash. So I only got half that cause ADHD. So, you know how you can set up different notification animations and or sounds depending on how many bits or, you know, dollar donations on stream? I kind of like the idea of that was all, yeah. So, you know, have one, much like the VR chat avatar, where it's like, you know, if someone donates, you know, a certain amount, then it does like holds the credit card, and then like the massive wave of bits, you know, blasts out. But then also have the one where if somebody donates like 1 singular bit, it does the same little animation, except it just goes and spits out the 1 bit, and it's just like, oh shit. But I also kind of like and this one I might want to do as an animated emote. It's a fun fact, I still need to try it out, but I have found an OCS add-on for VRC that can connect channel point redeems to avatar animation. Oh, OSC. So something like, say, slowly increase an avatar's boob size by 1%. Yes, that. Go on. Oh, an animated emote idea I kind of have is also this. It's really dumb. I legit know a way of doing that using parameter drivers, actually. Oh, nice. So I want an animated emote of, you see kind of off in the distance, like a little off in the distance, you see again a little animated chibi version, or little animated version of Ari kind of like walk onto screen and then just like throws a heart at the screen, and it splats against the front, against the emote, and then just kind of walks off like, here's your love, bitch, and like throws it and then walks off. It's like, fine, here. Get loved, bitch. Exactly. Get loved, bitch. But then I also like the idea of having one that I think I talked to you about it, Mega, of the, you know, the Senator Armstrong meme running up and punching, but it's, you know, running up and slapping the heart You know, it's like what game is this? Oh, I am Satsuna. I've never played that. I found the site that can make your own voice into it. Oh, that would be weird. That would be weird. I don't know if I'd like that. Have you seen the TikToks of the lady who is the woman who is the voice of TikTok? You know, that TikTok voice woman, you know, TTS woman who's like, you know, here's a thing I found. Yeah, and she talks and it's she's not doing, like, she's just talking normally, but she puts the cadence into it and you're just like, this is weird. I don't know how to feel about this. I see you're having a chill game today. Yes, apparently I am. It's funny. I opened up the advent calendar day. Also, hello, Ranche. I opened up the advent calendar today, and all it was a picture of Power Wash Simulator. There was no message on it. Bomber didn't put anything. It was just Power Wash Simulator. So I was like, okay. And unfortunately, as I've informed chat, I beat Power Wash Simulator in my off time. I just played it off stream and not realizing I was like a few levels away from the end of the game. So I've beaten it. So I just figured I'd just go into free play and redo past levels and replay the whole game. Because I don't remember where I left off, to be honest. Spirit of the North. What game is that? So yeah, we're just kind of having... I like to use Power Wash Simulator as my just chatting, storytelling kind of stuff. But yeah, Mega, I think we could totally pull off our own like little RP VTuber narrative things between like us and, you know, all of our friends. We could totally pull something off. It'll be fun. You want to build that lore? Let's make some fucking lore, bitch. But hey, that's just a theory. A streamer theory. Okay, that was dumb. That was really dumb. Oh yeah, I forgot. You can do this now. One of the things I want to do is a fake news bit. With fake weather reads. And now to Ollie for the weather. It go rain! Thank you, Ollie. That was the weather. Do like a fake sports casting. Welcome to Cooking with Master Chef. Yes. Sparkly title screen. Oh, dude, I'm telling you, you could totally do that. You should do that. And like I said, let us use it too. Just like his little Easter eggs in the background. It would be fucking great. Master Chef. Today we're going to be making Spartan 343 or Guilty Sparks 343. I don't know, what would it be, like cookies or something? I don't know. No, it would be a flood cake. Today we're gonna be making a flood cake. And it would, instead of onion rings, we're gonna be making Halo onion rings. Oh, that'd be funny. Oh my god. You could also make like your little fake commercials, because you said you wanted to be for like, you know, commercials for other streamers and stuff that you know, and content creators. But it would also be funny to have like some that are like little homages to old memes and things. Because if you could have like a advertisement for a restaurant for Arby and the Chief, and do it like an Arby's commercial, but it's Arby and the Chief. So I found the site that has all the voices of popular voices for TTS. Ah, nice. On a side note, Papa Strick says you're doing such a fine job of power washing, you can come and clean our wall. It is oddly satisfying. And once they are finished, someone goes, and now that the rings are done, they destroy all organic life in the universe. Bright flash, empty screen, stream ends. That would be hilarious. Wait, Mahina, is y'all's? I thought y'all's power washer broke, or am I thinking of something else or someone else? You guys still have a power washer? Also, y'all don't have a fence yet. You're still building that. Ah, right. It's my sister's that broke. No, well, I'm not saying you're slow. Though you are kind of getting old. I'm sorry, that was me. You're not slow. You just like to take your time. You know, Dad likes to take his time. Make sure he gets it right. Measure 47 times, cut once. Wow. Listen, she knows it's all in good fun. The resub gets refunded. Hello, Jolly. Bing. Bing. But it was funny, huh? Oh, that's a fun story I could talk about. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on stream before, but winning the brownie points there, aren't you? Yes, it was hilarious. um, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on stream before, but I don't know if anybody who's here has heard it. So when I was in high school, there is a comedian that I'm pretty sure most people have heard of because, you know, he is quite popular. Gabriel Iglesias, or as most people know him as Fluffy or Fluffy Guy. Real big comedian. Like when I say big, I mean like he's rather large. You know, it's the one who talks about, you know, the different there's 5 different levels of fatness. There's big, there's healthy, there's husky, there's fluffy, and there's damn. And then now there's a more recent one called oh hell no. But when I was, you know, when he was getting started and I was still in high school, I watched his stuff and I love him. He's hilarious. He's fun. He's great. Popular, big, or size big. Yes, exactly. But I was in, I want to say my sophomore year of high school. It was like my second year of high school. And I had been, you know, and Fluffy had been, you know, been on a few shows, you know, and he'd been, you know, growing in popularity. But he was still fairly small at the time. Snowden! He was still, you know, like he was popular, but he wasn't like selling out, you know, Bakersfield, you know, stadium or whatever. Dodger Stadium, I mean. You know, like, so he was doing a tour and it was the first time he'd ever been to Hawaii. He had come to Hawaii for a show, him and his little posse of, you know, other comedians. And I really wanted to go. But again, I was a sophomore, so I was like 15 years old, 15. Yeah, I think I was like 15. And the show, unfortunately, was marked as 18 plus. Like you had to be 18 or older to go. And so I was really bummed. I really wanted to go, but you know, I couldn't. So my parents, you know, were like, you know, hey, you know, they wanted to go see him. So they were like, we'll go see him. And then, you know, get you some souvenirs, get you something signed, you know, an album or whatever. And I was like, okay, you know, that's fine. And my dad, of course, you know, and my dad, as I've said, is U.S. Navy submarines. Like he's retired U.S. Navy submarines now, but at the time he was still in the Navy. And my dad is also a very friendly individual. Like he doesn't care who you are, where you're from. He will talk to you. You know, you could be, you know, the queen of fucking Neptune, and he will talk to you like you're a regular person. You know, and you know, something I try to do too. Like, people are people. You know, no matter, you know. But and you know, if you treat me like an asshole, then I'm gonna be like, wow, you're an asshole, and I'll fucking treat you like that too. You know, but initially, you know, you know, he's very friendly. You know, but you know, a nice person to get along with. And so they went to the show, and I think they had actually gotten like front row seats or something. Like they were pretty close to the front, and it was a fairly small venue. But they said that whenever the show was done, you know, Gabriel likes to go out and, you know, mingle with the crowd and, you know, like, you know, shake people's hands and be like, hey, you know, thanks for coming, you know, all that kind of stuff. And my dad, just being the, you know, typical friendly person that he is, you know, he was like, somehow he made mention that, you know, he was in the Navy, and they were like, oh, thank you for your service, all this kind of stuff. But I was like, yeah, and if you ever want to take a tour of a nuclear powered submarine, hit me up, and I can get you down on a boat and show you around, and you can see how everything works. It was pick your own seat, and no one was sitting in the front, so mine. Nice. So they were like, wait, like an actual submarine? And my dad was like, yeah. And my dad gave him his phone number, his cell phone number, and like, yeah, if you, they're like, well, okay, that'd be really cool. That sounds awesome. And my dad thought that they were just being nice. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And like the next day, I think, my dad gets a phone call, and it's Gabriel, and he's like, so, were you serious about, like, you'd be able to get us down on a submarine? Like, we could actually go down on one? And my dad was like, yeah, sure. I could, talk to somebody, and we could totally get you down there and show you around. And he was like, okay, yeah. Can we do it tomorrow? And my dad was like, sure. It's a bit short notice, but yeah, I can totally do that. And so my dad walks into my room and is like, and this is like a Thursday, or the phone call was on a Wednesday. He wanted to, get the tour on like a Thursday or something. And my dad was just like, walks into my room and is like, you're not going to school tomorrow. I was like, the fuck? Okay. Like, you're going to come hang out with me and Gabriel Iglesias all day. And I was like, wait, fucking what? And Dad's like, yeah, he called. He wants to get a tour. So you're coming with us. I was like, shit, yeah, let's fucking do this. So we did. We took him on a tour. It was him and Martin and Armando, I believe. And we gave him I went down with my dad, and we gave them a tour of one of the submarines. And like, what was fun and interesting about it was you could tell, like they were excited because they're like, ooh, shiny military tech, all that kind of stuff, because it's not every day that someone can, anybody can go down on a nuclear powered submarine, not gonna lie, and get like a one-on-one tour essentially. So, and yeah, they cracked some, they were making jokes, especially because it's like, that's a tiny hole. Can I fit down that? I don't know. Am I gonna be able to get back out? Little things like that. But yeah, I got to hang out with them all day. My dad was giving the tour, and you could tell like they were genuinely interested. They were fascinated by everything. Like, you go down for like, you go like down, like, you and all this kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, here's how everything works, and then after that, we went and just, I think we went and got Taco Bell because we went to the Navy Exchange food court, and they were like, I want Taco Bell. I was like, okay. There was a lot of food options, and they, some of them, they tried some of the stuff, but my God, that man could eat. Like, all of them, they could put away the fucking food. But yeah, no, cracked some jokes, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was a pretty fun time. And that was one of those, like, that is my, if someone asks, like, what is your celebrity moment? It's like, I spent an entire day with Gabriel Iglesias. I skipped school to hang out with him one day. Like, that's my fucking celebrity story. One of them anyway. Yeah, like, and I was a growing kid. I ate a lot more than I should have, when I was going through, puberty and all that kind of shit. And so I always thought, man, I could put away the food. No. That they especially between Gabriel and Armando, they can fucking put the food away. It was like they were looking at me like, eat more, and I was like, I'm full. And like, bullshit, keep going. I'm like, no, I can't eat anymore. I'm sorry. my other pseudo celebrity story, when I was working at GameStop, because again, I grew up in Hawaii, and there's celebrities. They have their summer homes or their winter homes or whatever the fuck they want to call them, or some of them just straight up live out there, like alternate between living out there. And when I was working at GameStop, Wayne Brady is a huge fucking gaming nerd. Like, he loves video games. He is a big game nerd. And he would show up at different GameStops on the island, because he lived out there, and he came in one time and wanted to buy a bunch of gifts for his friends, and he wanted to buy a bunch of Nokia N-Gages. For anyone who doesn't know, the Nokia N-Gage was a shitty fucking phone that tried to also be a handheld gaming console. It was shit. It was complete and utter garbage. It was the crappiest phone and the crappiest gaming device. And so much so that all of our GameStop stores there in Hawaii, we had like at least 200 in stock at any given time. They were that bad. Nobody wanted them. We didn't even. So he comes in and it's like, yeah, I want to get like 30 of these. And we were just like, no, you don't want those. And he's like, what? Yeah, I do. And it's like, no, we're telling you right now, you do not, especially if you're getting these as gifts for your friend, you don't want these. And it's like, oh, and we told him, we showed him how shitty they were. And he was like, oh, that's really bad. Like, yeah. Like, well, what should I get them? And so we basically sold him a whole bunch of Nintendo DSs instead. It's like, your friends are gonna enjoy these a lot more than they'll enjoy the fucking N-Gage. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, it's like, no, you don't want those. You don't want those. But that was something that, again, a little bit of my dad, my dad's raising, but also just the Hawaiian island, way of life, because, it's like celebrities are all of, it's like California, kind of, not as bad. Well, not bad, but not as prevalent, but, it's fairly common to see celebrities, just random celebrities, because they're on vacation, or some of them are even out there working, on a film or something, or a TV show. And so you'll just happen to come across them. And, a lot of people growing up, living in Hawaii, we're just, it's the attitude as, the islander attitude as well, but it's this idea of like, they're just people, and a lot of times they're just people who are just trying to enjoy themselves. So you very rarely find locals who be like, oh my god, it's so oh my god. It's like, a lot of times we're just like, hey, how's it going? You enjoying it? Ah, cool. Shoots, I hope you have a good day. You can always tell that either the tourists or the people who have like just recently moved to Hawaii, because they're the ones who are all like, oh my god, can I get a picture? Can I get a signature? And all this. And whereas the people who've been living there for most of their life are like, hey, how's it? Oh yeah, shoots, whatever, because it's just a common thing. Man, the N-Gage was an idea mired by forced design, being things pushed on them, if I heard right. Oh yeah, tons of things being pushed on them. Also the fact that, like I said, it was a phone that was shaped like a taco shell, and in order for you to talk on it, you had, how you would think you would talk on it is not how you would talk on it. You would not talk on, like, you would have to hold it like a taco. So you would hold it, on the thin part and hold it up to your ear like a taco. Not on its flat side, on its thin edge. That was the mic and speaker. And I believe that was the first design of it. Then the second gen design of it was more like how you would think you would talk on it. But the first gen version, the first model of the phone, you talked on it like a literal taco, and it was so bad. It was a crappy device. But you know, like it, because it came out, I want to say like a couple of years before the DS came out, so it was like the first handheld 3D, you know, like 3D gaming handheld. It was shitty 3D, but it was 3D. And the fact that it was also gaming, like 3D gaming, PlayStation gaming on your phone. It was also the first one to do that, I believe, because all other phones was just like, oh yeah, play Snake, you know, play Breakout, you know, whatever. But this one was like, nah, you want to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater? Fuck yeah. Play it on your phone. Wait, what? Yeah, anywhere you are, you can play it. Because that was the other problem. In order to play the games, you had to like practically open the phone in half to get in there to plug in the chip for the game, then close it up. And so like it wasn't easy to quickly on the fly change games like say a Game Boy, a DS, or you know, even the PlayStation Portable, you know, the PSP. Like it was just bad. It was poor design. Had it had online access, so like, and the screen was tiny and shitty and had a shitty aspect ratio too. Like honestly, look. You know what? Hold on. Give me a second. Let me pull something up. Here, let's Nokia Engage. Yeah, this thing. This thing was so bad. I just want to see the picture. No. This is a later model. This was the Engage QD, which this is where like that's the speaker, and I believe, or yeah, and the microphone I think was like over here. But this version of the Engage, the very first Nokia. Okay, I enjoyed watching, but I've been distracted this whole time. I'm gonna get back to work. Okay. This shitty screen, and in where you talked on it was on this thin edge. So you had to hold it against your head vertically. Like you had to put this against this thin side against your head and talk on it. There's the speaker. Yeah, there's the speakers. And the microphone was down here somewhere. And that's how you talked on this thing. And there's the screen and its shitty aspect ratio. Oh, that's super crappy. Yeah, look at this. Look at this thing. Like, no, I don't want to visit. Just want to see the image. Yeah, it was, we called it the taco. It was so bad. And then they came out with the QD. Look at how small this is. It was a shrunk down version. And it was even shittier. Yeah, so that's the Nokia N-Gage. And yeah, no, that was a bad fucking phone. It was a terrible phone, and it was a terrible gaming device. Oh, I also remember a friend of mine had a the Virtual Boy. I've actually played a Virtual Boy. And that thing, oh, it wasn't that great either. Which is why it was funny whenever, you know, the 3DS was announced. It was like, we're doing, you know, 3D. And it's like, I was like, oh, you mean like the Virtual Boy? Because that thing was shit. And of course, granted, the 3DS, I'm not gonna lie, like power wise, the 3DS was actually really good. Like it was a really good handheld device for gaming. But the 3D part was the most gimmicky shit ever and wasn't necessary. And Nintendo knew it wasn't necessary because then they later put out the 2DS, and it was like, which I have a 2DS, the little cake wedge. I loved the 3D part. Fuck, I'm still here. Okay, bye. Okay, bye, Mega. I mean, you could at least put me on in the background, right? I mean, I'm mostly talking story. Also, I tend to do this when you're streaming. I'm sitting at work and it's like, you go live and I pull your stream up and I'm like, okay, I'll just put you on in the background. And then I wind up sitting there watching and interacting with you. And it's like, fuck, I need to be working. Although you go live like when it's like an hour before I go home anyway. So it's not like I'm doing much work anyway. You also have a 2DS? Yeah, like, cause why have the 3D aspect? I have to listen to my course too. Oh yeah, you're doing, was it a Blender course? Look at this dude out here getting all edumacated and shit. Pfft, whatever. Oh, I'm happy that you're getting yourself edumacated and shit. Bettering yourself. My 3DS got so much use when I used to take minimum 1 hour train rides to work. Oh yeah. I'm working on a low poly character course right now. Oh, nice. Yeah, that was the thing with a lot of the like handheld gaming. Like I loved it. I you know, liked playing them, but at the same time, especially nowadays, I don't usually commute. Like I never really commuted anywhere that required me to, you know, spend time to where it's like, okay, I'll just pull out my DS or pull out my PSP. So a lot of times I would just use it while I was, you know, laying in bed, or, you know, if the family was commandeering the TV and I didn't really want to watch whatever they were watching, I'd sit on the couch or sit in my room and play something, you know. Like I oftentimes would bring it and play it if I was like, especially as I got older, if I was like, say, you know, okay, I'm going to the doctor's office and I know I'm going to be waiting for a bit, or, you know, I'm at the DMV, or I'm at, you know, going to, you know, the car shop and my car is going to be, you know, indisposed for a bit, and so I'm just going to be sitting there killing time waiting. Then yeah, it's a really good time to pull it out. But most of the time I'd just be at home, or although I did get a lot of use out of my Vita and my 2DS whenever I was in college, because I had quite a few courses where I was like, man's out here looking like a PS1 Power Ranger, I swear to God. It was pre-owned and already had games on it. Oh, nice. But when I was in college, my second foray into college, I had some courses where it's like, okay, I have a class super early in the morning, and then I would have a class later that evening. And so I would have, like, but I lived like an hour away from my college campus. And so I was like, well, by the time I would drive home from my course in the morning to then have to turn around and come right back, it would not be worth the gas money. Like it wouldn't be worth it. It's like, might as well just stay at the campus. So I would stay at the campus and play my Vita, play my 2DS, play on my iPad. Like if I didn't have any papers to write or anything, yeah, it's been so, so I did get a lot of use out of it with that. But like when I was in high school and I had a Game Boy Color and then, a Game Boy Advance, for one thing, I was oftentimes grounded from it because my grades were not super great. And so as punishment, I was not allowed to play video games. All my consoles and things were taken away. But in my defense, my grades were only shitty because my school was stupid, in my personal opinion, and put way too much fucking weight on your homework rather than, because I knew the shit. I aced the tests. I was getting like, A's and B's on all of the tests. They would ask me questions about the materials and I would answer them and know it. But because I never did any of my homework, because I hated homework, because homework is the stupidest fucking thing in the world, but homework was heavily graded towards our grade, I was failing. I failed a lot of my classes. But you have to do the homework to get the full credit. Right. But if it wasn't as heavily graded to where like, okay, you didn't do the homework, but you got, high grades and everything else, I should have been at least a, high C, low B. Yeah, Mom, you told us. We've done enough of the homework to get by even. Right, but that was the thing. Like, there was just so much because that was the other thing. There was just so much homework. Like, I was already at school for like, 9 hours, like 8 to 9 hours a day. And then they wanted me to go home and do, an extra 4 hours worth of homework. And it was like, no. Home is my time. That is me time. It was Buku. It was what? Mahini, did you have a stroke? Oh, buku. Okay. A lot. It was buku. Yeah, it was a lot. And again, it was fucking dumb. If you had passed French, you would get that. I never took French, so meh. I, in high school, never got to take any second languages because my grades were not well enough for me to take to take an extracurricular class. I took 4 years of high school drama. I enjoyed it. I loved high school drama. But because that was my elective, I had to have certain number of, passing credit scores or whatever by my junior year of high school in order to be able to take a second elective. And I never did that. I so badly wanted to take Japanese in high school. But no, because of my grades, they were like, no, you can't. It's like, okay, cool. Keep a life skill away from me. I got it. Because that's my other issue with, the public education system in general. Damn the man for requiring learning. Right, but think about this. Like, now, don't get me wrong. Like, education is, I think education is very important. Public education is very important as well. I think that the way we do it and handle it is poor. Because, again, I only paid attention in my French class because my teacher was hot as fuck. I mean, I kind of only really paid attention in my biology class because my biology instructor was hot as fuck. But anyway, she was so hot that I failed the class so I could take it twice with the same instructor. Anyway, so one of the biggest problems I find with the education system, and this is not just in the US, this is in most countries. Why is it that we are requiring kids, like, especially once kids reach a certain, a certain grade level, once they reach a certain grade level, they have teachers who specialize in specific topics. Like, there's the math teacher, there is the science teacher, there is the music teacher, there's the art teacher, there's the English English and writing teacher, the literary teacher, all that kind of stuff. Yet we are requiring these kids to prove that they know mastery of all of these subjects when we divide these subjects among so many other instructors. Like, no teacher is required to know everything, but we're requiring the kids to know everything. Doesn't that seem a little stupid and counterintuitive, if you ask me? It's like, no wonder the kids are so stressed, because they have to know, the fucking Pythagorean theorem while also knowing, being able to, read, recite, and discuss the literary workings of Shakespeare, while then also understanding, the quantum theory, and quantum mechanics and, or whatever, like all this shit. Yeah, they're fucking stressed out. And then they have to take it all home and work on shit at home as well. So now the parents are sitting there going, and, they're like, what the fuck? Pardon your French, such language. And so a lot of the parents are just as confuzzled as the kids. So the kid's not exactly getting, not to say that, there aren't parents who are trying, but even the parents who are trying are like, what the fuck? I don't get this. Especially nowadays when they're teaching new math. Oh, just fuck new math. Math is math. The old way fucking worked. Instead of punishing everybody for a handful of people who learn differently, and nothing wrong if you learn differently, if you understand something differently, I get that. But rather than taking, having the people who understand and comprehend and learn differently than a vast majority of people, our system, especially here in the US, has decided to say no, because the parents, the fucking Karens, like, the rest of the kids have to be essentially punished and learn this fucking whack-ass fucking weird way of shit. And they don't fucking get it and understand it. So now they're falling behind and just... it's just... The whole fucking system is stupid. And it's not stupid because it's I'm not saying it's stupid because it's not necessary. I'm saying it's stupid because it's stupid the way it's being handled and the way it's being done. And that, in my honest opinion, is why I would never want to go into the education system. Like so many people were like, oh, you'd make a wonderful teacher. You would do so well. I would hate it. Not because I would hate the teaching part. I would constantly be battling the system. I would be that teacher that those Karens would complain about, because I would basically be like, look, fuck the system that they want me to teach you. Fuck these things. I'm going to teach you it this way, and you're going to understand it that way because it fucking works. We're not going to read these things. We're going to do spelling tests. We're going to do comprehension. We're going to do all these different things. And the parents and the fucking, school board will be like, you can't fucking do it. You got, and I'll be like, fuck you. I'm doing it my way, and I will prove to you, if you let me do it my way, I will prove to you that it is a much better system than what you're wanting me to fucking do. But they would never let me do that. They would find ways to stop me, to hinder me, whatever, or just flat out fucking fire me, which then that goes on to my record. And so if I apply for any other schools, then they would see like, oh, they're troublesome, they're rebellious, they don't follow the rules and everything, and then I can't get another job. Yeah, so if I were to go into the education system to work in it, I would basically try to go in as like the board of education, like get on the board of education and like try to fix the system. And I could probably do it, and I will do it my way, pretty much. And I could probably get in there and really fight to fix the system. But I would make a lot of enemies doing so, because, man, companies like McGraw-Hill and, these publishers who really essentially lobbied, aka bribed, to make it the standard system and the core system for education, would be super upset and not like the way I would basically take all their shit away from them. Because that's the thing. So here in the States, we have this thing called Common Core, and Common Core is basically the quote unquote standardized tests and reading materials. Now, here's the thing. The tests and the reading materials are all made and published and purchased from a group of companies. So basically, the people who make the books are also the people who make the tests. So they literally can say and do whatever the fuck they want. Because, the other problem is the books that are used, like when the board of education in your area, in your state or whatever, when they get together to decide what curriculum and what books are okay for schools to use and everything, you would think, oh, it would be a board of educators, teachers and people with learning who do it. No, the board of education is made up of parents and Karens and whoever the fuck wants to be on it, and it's not full of educators, instructors, teachers, anything like that. And so you get a bunch of fucking Bible thumping dipshits, and my child is a special snowflake Karens who deserves everything because I say so, deciding that deciding on what can and can't be used in the school and how the school should be run. because they go, well, I don't like this. I don't like the way this is run. I don't like how this story plays out. I don't like Harry Potter because it talks about magic, and magic is the devil. And so shit like that gets thrown out and, not okayed and all this other bullshit. And it's like, and you get people on the Board of Education who own businesses. They own the publishing companies. They own all that stuff. We can't talk about intimacy in schools. Oh my God. Ugh. Here's the thing. Here's the lowdown. I hate to break it to all of y'all parents out there, but and this isn't just to parents. This is to adults. I'm gonna blow your fucking mind here. Children are smarter than you think they are. And you're dumb. You're dumber than them if you think they're not smart. Children will find out about things. Children will learn about things before you think they're ready. And it's not because it's on TV. It's not because it's in movies and comic books and newspapers and all that kind of stuff. No, they learn that shit from their peers, their friends, their schoolmates, just figuring it out themselves. So don't pull this bullshit of, oh, they can't know about sex because they're too young for it. No, they're not. They're learning about that shit when they're fucking 4 years old. They don't understand it, they don't know it, but they're definitely aware of it. Because they're learning about themselves, their body. Their body's doing things. And as they get older, guess what? These things called hormones start pumping through their brains and their body. And, they start talking to friends. So wouldn't you rather have them be educated on what those things are and how to handle those things so that they don't do something stupid that you did and, get your main squeeze at the time, or you yourself pregnant when you're like 14 fucking years old and having a kid that you shouldn't be having? When we make something taboo, it sparks even more curiosity. Exactly. The more you tell somebody, no. It's as my mother and my father would always try to do. Not my mind, I only have one of those. Yeah. My mother and my father would always, instead of just telling us no, they would explain why. Because that, honestly, for kids especially, can't learn about sex? That's me, fuck. Wait. Like, if you truly talk to your kids and explain to them why they can't do something, why... Ooh, I had a game froze for a second. Like, don't just, if you tell the kid no, don't just tell them no. Explain to them why. And don't just pull this because I said so bullshit. Tell them, and 9 times out of 10, they'll understand and be like, okay, I get it. I understand. Okay. And they won't do that thing or whatever. Don't just tell them no, because if you tell them no and they ask why, hello, Arctic. If you tell them no and they ask why not, and you just say because I said so, that makes them look at it as a taboo, and therefore their rebelliousness kicks on, and they're like, oh well, I'm gonna do it just to spite you because it's a bad thing. And so now my curiosity as to why is it a bad thing, ooh, what could it be, just increases. And so, but if you tell them like, no, don't do that, you know, or I don't, even if it's a simple, I don't want you doing that because I don't, you know, I don't think it's safe, or I don't think, you know, it's appropriate for you, or you know, anything like that. Like, truly explain to them. Again, not saying it's a 100% guarantee that they won't, but at least when they, if they do it, you know, behind your back or whatever, then at least they'll have a better understanding of why you were why you told them that, and then, you know, they can understand, oh no, now I can see what they mean by, you know, this or whatever. My pet peeve is because I said so, and then wonder why their children won't talk to them. Yeah, exactly. Because again, children are not stupid. Teenagers are not stupid. They are smarter than you give them credit for. Because there's also the fact of sometimes, I mean, you give them warning and everything, but sometimes they just won't fucking learn until they do it themselves and are stupid and find out. They fucked around and found out. And all you got to do when they do that is just be like, be there for them. Be like, yeah, you know, that happened. Don't be mad and upset and angry at them. Disappointed, maybe. But just be like, you know, basically kind of a, what did we learn? And go from there. Because the moment you essentially vilify them is the moment you lose them, and they will not come to you for anything anymore. They will not want to do anything with you. They will not want to discuss anything with you, because you will take everything and turn it into evil and bad and hatred and vitriol, and they don't need that. They don't want that. That was Mahina's rant of the day. Yeah, like, I don't know. Again, it's that whole don't be a dick. Like, you know, it's the same with, like, why is it so bad to want to put things into place that will help others, especially the younger generations going forward? And the only reason you can give for you not wanting them to have that, or, you know, put those in place or whatever, is because you didn't have it when you were growing up. Wouldn't you prefer, because you had to struggle and fight your ass off for shit, that you wouldn't want anyone else, especially your kids, your grandkids, your nieces and nephews, your cousins, to go through the same fucking shit? So wouldn't you rather not have to have them go through that, so you would want to make it better for them? Just, you know, just a thought. Your friends, your family, your neighbors' kids. Like, why is it so difficult to think about someone other than yourself? And why is there's a web comic that somebody made that I think encompasses that idea very cleanly, in that it's this guy and he's like, man, after, you know, years of battling it and fighting, I'm glad that I finally battled and won and am cancer free. And then the last panel is like, be real unfortunate if somebody found a cure for cancer right now. It'd make me really mad. Like, no, you just went through hell. You would, if there was a cure for cancer, you'd be all for that and be like, yeah, fuck yeah. Because you went through shit and you don't want anyone else to go through that. And if you could make it easier for someone else, you would want that. You would be a total dick and an asshole to be like, no cure for cancer because I had to go through hell and everybody has to go through hell for through cancer. No, it makes you an asshole. So why is it the same for everything else? I had a situation like that in high school, and my best friend at the time got mad at me because I gave her boyfriend my phone number because I was friends with him. I asked her why she got mad, and her reply was because it makes me uncomfortable. I then continued to ask why she felt that way, and she couldn't come up with a good answer. Back then, it didn't make sense to me. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, from one, not having very good education, and two, not having very good parents, or raising, I guess you would say, in that it's hard to express one's feelings, one's emotions. Like, we, haven't and even though, and it's not just, a link to raising or anything, it can also be a link to, just one's mental development, because, some people, myself included, just have trouble getting what's in our brain to come out the way that we want it to come out and understanding what's going on. So yeah, but we don't have good systems in place to help people with that. Genuine fact, I'm a kinesthetic learner, so I can only learn stuff if I actually do it myself or see how it all works, which is why I like machinery so much, because it's all mechanic and I see shit moving and understand better how it all works than any bloody book with billions of words and that I instantly reject reading because of my dyslexia. Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing, like, everybody has different ways of learning. You have, kinesthetic, where you have to physically be doing it to learn it, or shown it to learn it. There's visual learning, where the shown is more of a visual learner. There's auditory, where you have to be sitting there and listening, but some people can't, like, if they're an auditory, they can't be looking at anything else. Like, they have to literally, like, stare at a blank wall or a blank nothing and listen, because they're focusing on listening, and that's how they can learn something. There's some people who can just pick up a book and read and learn it. Like, there's all manner of different ways of learning, but we don't use any of that in our teaching process, in our school systems. We don't do that. Brand says, though, there aren't those kinds of assholes out there. Yeah, I know. I don't know. What is it with games like Power Wash Simulator, where it's just kind of, methodical, doing whatever that makes me go into rant modes? Like, let me talk about this bullshit today. Yeah, it's also annoying. Stop. Just to all the fucking politicians and Karens and everybody out there, stop saying this bullshit of, it's for the children. Think of the children. I'm sorry, but we're the ones who actually do think of the children. You're the ones who aren't thinking of the children, because you're just using the children as an excuse to control other people. That's it. You don't give a damn about those kids. Because the moment they are out of the womb, you don't give a shit about them. Because if you did care about them, you would have systems in place to help them with their education, help them keep a roof over their head, help the parents to keep, food on the table. Like, you would have systems in place to help them, but no, you ain't got any of that, because then you say, oh, it's just free handouts. You don't deserve handouts. You don't deserve free shit. But hey, let's burn all these books that mention, any form of, homosexuality or or hell, sometimes even heterosexuality, just sexuality in general, transgender, anything like that. And let's, burn it all, literally burn the books because, it's, think of the children. Really? Fuck you. Oh, don't say don't say gay, laws are passed. Think of the children. No, those children who are of, the LGBTQIA plus, they need you to actually support them. But because you can't say any of that because of the children, they are like, they're just lost. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing anyone can do to help them. I mean, we can help them and we do help them, but there's so much like super secret squirrel espionage bullshit that we have to go through just to, help them. Now they've been isolated even more and nobody can, openly discuss things and talk with them and help them. I was like it earlier today when I was streaming Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. Because your brain is wandering whilst you clean, you get into the flow and no strategy involved. True. If you truly wanted to protect children, sex ed wouldn't be a thing. No, actually, if they wanted to protect the children, sex ed would be a thing. Sex education is a good thing. It's these people who are to protect the children who take sex ed away. They're the ones who are banning, fighting to ban sex education in schools. And whenever, even if there is sex education in school, they are heavily regulating that shit to not involve things that, oh, I don't know, actually are sexual education. Think of all children, not just those you fit into your ideal of what normal is. Exactly. It's the same with this whole, like, my religious freedoms, this thing is encroaching upon my religious freedoms. I was like, oh yeah. Well, what about my religious freedoms or my religious right to, or my right to not have a religion at all? Like, where's my freedoms in that? What about, does your thing that you're fighting, that you're, passing, because of religious freedom, does that take into account, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, Satanism? Like, does it take into account any of that shit? No. It takes into account your fucking, radical Christian ideals. And fuck everybody else. Ban on abortions because, it goes against our religious freedom, our religious freedoms to deny it or whatever, and it's like, okay, but in Judaism, it clearly states, according to their religious belief, that if there would be death and or harm upon the woman due to the birth of the child, that an abortion is a necessity in order to save the life of the one living. To save the life of the woman, in Judaism, abortion is an option if it would be a troublesome childbirth. But no, because my fucking, Catholic belief, religious freedoms are the ones that I care about. Fuck all the other religions. Okay, well, fuck you. Normal is such a broad term. What does it even mean at this point? Exactly. Normal is not a normal thing. The idea of normal doesn't exist because everybody's definition of normal is different. It's just like, in all honesty, I know I'm probably going to get a flack from a bunch of people, but in reality, if you think about it and you really diagnose it, or not diagnose it, but like break it down. The concept of good and evil is a matter of perspective. There are, social, societal definitions of good and evil, because as a society, as a civilizations, as cultures, we have deemed that, nah, this is fucking evil. But if you think about it, good and evil is a matter of perspective, because the people who are doing evil, and yes, to society and as a whole, it is evil. I'm not saying it's justified or anything. It is evil. But to that individual, in their mind, in their perspective, what they're doing is good. What they're doing is right. It's not, but to them it is. And vice versa. Someone who could be doing good to the rest of the world, to them, or to someone, that their perspective, it's evil. What that's happening is evil, but to the rest of the world, it's like, no, we see it as good. Like, it is a matter of perspective. And it's the same with normal. The idea of quote unquote normal is perspective. What's normal for you is not normal for others. What's normal for some is not normal for everyone. And in all honesty, to be different and unique is normal. Embrace your freaky things, because that makes you normal. Because that makes you human. Your uniqueness, your ability to stand out, that is normal. One person's trash is another person's treasure. Exactly. What one person sees as evil, someone else might see it as good. It depends. Exactly. Like, and because that's the other thing, like, so for one thing, fun little fact, going back to the whole, like, all of the, homophobia and transphobia and all that kind of stuff. Most of the people, and they've done studies, there's legit evidence for this. Most of the people who are incredibly anti-gay, anti-trans, all that kind of stuff, the hardcore homophobics and transphobics, 9 times out of 10, it is because they themselves are secretly gay or, trans or whatever. But because of their surroundings, their placement in society, or their fear of being ostracized and, all that stuff, and also their hatred of the fact that here are people who are being themselves, who are free and open about themselves when they themselves feel like they cannot be that. It makes them hate those people, because it's like, why do they get to be happy and I don't? Why do they get to express themselves the way they want to and I don't? I hate them. I don't like them. I want them to go away. Instead of accepting themselves, being themselves, and instead of, saying, fuck what everyone else thinks, I'm going to be me to be me. So, yeah, like, that is just a fun little fact. So if you ever have a talk with that, super homophobic uncle or grandparent, kind of just sit there and think and just you don't have to confront them or tell them or anything, but just kind of think about some of the things they say and some of the things they've done in the past, and maybe be like, maybe there's something else there. My girlfriend keeps telling me whenever I'm down in the dumps that I am normal and that everyone else that are following trends and all doing the same things as each other and being the typical social media stereotypes are the weird ones. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like this whole VTubing thing, I've wanted to do this whole have an avatar represent me on stream all the way back when I first found out about streaming in general. So that was back in like 2009, 2010, I think. I was like, man, what if I could have like a little cartoon drawing of me or something? You know, like, how could I do that? Is that possible? Really wasn't a lot of technology at the time. And then whenever I got back into streaming, I was like, yeah, I kind of want to do that. I didn't do this because of trends and because it was a cool, trendy thing to do. I did it because I wanted to do it. It was an idea I wanted to do. It only when it was, you know, unfortunately, the time in which I was able to do it was around the time when it started to become a trend. But I can tell you this right now. If and or when the whole like VTuber trend goes away, I'm gonna still be doing this because this is what I wanted from the beginning. It's not because I wanted to do it for trends, because, you know, it gets me out there. Do I use it to my advantage? Yes, I do. I put VTuber on my title, on my stream, you know, tags. I put, you know, all that stuff on there to help me, to give me an advantage. But at the end of the day, it's not because it was a plan, because I, you know, trying to do it. It's because, no, it just happens to coincide. But if all that were to go away, I still would do it. Doesn't matter, because it's what I wanted from the beginning. So yeah, the people who chase trends and, you know, all that stuff and do some like just be you. You want the selling, like the, you know, you want to know, you know, what you need to do to fucking get yourself out there and to be, you know, known and all this kind of shit. Be you. Be true to you. Be legit. Be yourself. And yes, being yourself, you're going to have some dark times. You're going to have your down moments. You're going to have your bad times. But it's when you're showing that side of you that people see that, oh no, you are legit. You're not putting on an air of performance. Yes, we do go into we naturally go into performance modes whenever we do shit like this. I'll admit that I do that too. There's many a times I've about to go on live on stream and I've done the whole like, take a deep breath, focus my mind. Hey, how's it going, everybody? You know, how are you doing? Welcome in. But at the same time, I mean, y'all have seen me at my like, oh my god, I can't fucking believe this. You know, shit's going bad. You know, shit's been rough. You know, whatever. Because I try to be. It's one of those. It's easier to be yourself, and harder to try to put on something you're not, and it's not even something that you're not. It's just it's harder to constantly keep a certain persona going, because when you slip from that, then suddenly the fear of, oh my god, what if people find out? It's like, if you've been legit from the beginning, nobody fucking cares. You have your moments, okay. They just go, oh yeah, no, okay, they're having one of their moments, you know. And you know, then you get the ones who, like you guys, who you're like, oh no, you know, we support you, we're with you, you know, we'll help you get through this, you know, take your time, do whatever. You know, you'll get that community. And then you're like, cool. And then you get right back in it and you just go. It's not that hard. Just be yourself. But you have so many people who are like, oh, I gotta chase the trends. I gotta do that. And, you know, it's like, no, you don't. Yes, that can help you get there. But, you know, and it can help boost you. But at the end of the day, is it you? It's the same with, like these people who, um, who stream one game and one game only. Like it's nothing but League of Legends, or it's nothing but Call of Duty, or it's nothing but, Apex Legends, Apex Legends. But, and, and they get, those crazy amount of viewers, they're hitting, like hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of viewers. But then they get that moment of like, well, I really want to play something else. But they don't want to do it on stream because they, they'll do it if they do, they try it once on stream and they notice that, oh my God, only a third of the people who watch me showed up. So then they sit there and go, well, fuck, I have to do only Apex Legends or only whatever. Not thinking of it instead as, and like I said, I've quite a few streamers who I watch. I've watched them go through this. They've gone from a solo game stream to a variety streamer, kind of like myself. And I don't mean myself as in I was only one thing and then swapped over to variety. I mean, I wanted to be a variety streamer from the beginning because I like games. But I've watched so many people who like only streamed one thing and then swapped over to variety streaming. And a lot of the people who swapped over to variety streaming that I don't watch would go right back to doing the solo streaming because they saw that a massive dip in their viewers, their average viewer count or whatever. Instead of looking at it as the ones who I watch who have gone completely variety streamer and have been enjoying it, they've looked at it as, okay, yes, I'm not streaming Sea of Thieves anymore, or yes, I'm not streaming VR chat all the time. But those who still showed up, or whatever else I'm playing, whatever else I'm doing, those are the ones who are here to see me. They're not here to see the game I'm playing. They're not here to, for whatever. They're here to see me. And that helps you to stand out even more as well. Because then it's like, I don't watch Mega G Wolf because he's doing Minecraft. I watch Mega when he goes live because he's my friend and I like watching what he does. I watch Crotuck because I like Crotuck. I watch Woodrow because I like Woodrow. I watch Rob Roman because I like Rob Roman. I watch Maximilian Dude because I like Maximilian and the Yo Video Games crew. I don't watch them because they're playing a specific game. And I don't care if they're big name streamers or not, because I enjoy their content. I enjoy what they do. I like jumping into their chat and saying a couple of things now and again. Simple as that. And that's something that I think, and that's not just Twitch, that's YouTube as well. I think that's something that a lot of content creators in general, especially new ones coming into the whole field, either forgot or don't realize. You don't need to be the biggest thing. You just need to be great for some people. Simple. Because that is what builds a community. And that is the groundwork for a community. Because as long as you're yourself and that community is there for you, that community will grow. It will get bigger. And it will be much more impactful and cherished because you are you. Because they're there for you. They're not there for whatever you're doing. And honestly, that's kind of why I like watching Markiplier. Because, yeah, he's, a really big YouTuber and he, has lots of, followers and all this kind of shit. But at the end of the day, you still get the impression that he is being himself. He is being him. There's a bit of, over dramaticism and, all that kind of stuff. But when you watch his stuff and you see, like, even when he's like interacting with, you know, people on other channels or, you know, on Twitter or whatever, it's him. It's just him. He hams things up, yeah, but who doesn't? You know, it's just little things like that. So just be yourself. It's not that hard. Started becoming a VTuber because I refuse to show myself and use a webcam like all the other streamers keep saying is the only way to grow, and anyone that doesn't show themselves, to quote one very well-known streamer, are not making an effort and don't deserve viewership. I have massive anxiety about showing my IRL self, so VTubing to me has filled the gap nicely of showing me in some form on stream without showing my actual self. Exactly, GW. I'm the same way. I mean, I don't like the way I look. Never really have. And so VTube, that's why I had the idea to do the VTubing before it was called VTubing. Like, have a little avatar of myself. And honestly, even my layout right now, I'm not a fan of it. I've never been a big fan of, you know, YouTube videos, Let's Plays, or Twitch streams where the camera is essentially covering a portion of the screen. Because, yeah, I'm there for the streamer or the YouTuber, but I'm also there for the content that they're playing. And so I kind of want to see that. And my brain just kind of like, there could be something there behind whatever it is, and I don't like not knowing what's there. So, you know, in my, like, you know, I was talking earlier, I'm kind of wanting to do like a, not necessarily a rebrand, but like a whole, like an overhaul of what I've got. And one of the things I want to do is set up like change my layout, change my overlay to be where, yes, the game screen will probably be a little smaller on the screen because I'll have like little borders, but I won't be covering anything. My notification pop-ups won't be covering anything because I don't want that. I don't like that. So, you know, there's, yeah. And to all the people, you know, because, yeah, you're right. I know of, you know, some big name streamers and YouTubers and everything who, you know, don't think, you know, VTubing is a legitimate thing, or PNG tubing or anything like that. You know, basically it's something different and they don't like it. They don't understand it. So it's again one of those, I don't understand this thing, therefore I hate this thing, or I'm afraid of this thing, so I hate it and I don't like it, and I think anybody who does it is dumb and stupid. No, you're an idiot for thinking that. You know, people have their own reasons for doing things. You know, Carities is a Sea of Thieves streamer, and I believe she's a Sea of Thieves partnered streamer, and she doesn't have a webcam in any of her streams. She sometimes has like a little cartoon drawing, like a PNG of herself, but most of the time she just has herself, or it's just her voice. Hell, I was just my voice for quite a while before I got all this stuff set up. Because, you know, yeah, I had a webcam initially, but again, I hated the way I look and I didn't like my layout. And so I was like, I just don't want to turn it on today. And it was just me and my voice, you know, and the game. Then, you know, I got the little free witch avatar as I was slowly trying to get Ari up and running, you know, and just things like that. Because it's also one of those, like, people who, you know, say, oh no, you know, you have to do these things because, you know, if you don't, you're not, you know, it's not legit or it's not whatever, you know. It's all, that's also just, first of all, a form of gatekeeping, and second of all, a form of not allowing the platforms to grow, which causes stagnation. You know, like, let people try things, let people experiment with things. You know, I don't get angry and upset when I see, you know, a big name streamer suddenly be like, hey, I have a, you know, a VTuber debut coming up, because, you know, they're trying it out. Because again, you know, it's a trend to them. It's a trend. It's a thing to try out. It, you know, might be fun, and that's fine. They want to try it out, they can try it out. And if they like it, they like it. That's cool. I'm not going to be mad and upset because it's like, oh my God, you already have this massive following. Why are you doing this thing? No, if they feel like they want to do it, let them do it, you know? And who knows, they might bring something to the field that's like, oh shit, that's cool and interesting. I might give that a try myself. You know, it's like the whole having a little, you know, a little thing, whether it be a robot or an animal or whatever, as a little mini companion that has a text to speech for the chat, so that you guys can like use channel donation, you know, or channel point redeems or bit donations that let you have that little creature say a message on my streams. You know, I think that's cool. It's a trendy thing going around, I'll admit. Like, there's, you know, people are trying it out and doing some funny things. But I personally am like, I would like to give it a try because I think it'd be funny. I think, you know, we would have some great moments. Will it stay around? Who knows? It could stick around for me. It may not work for me, but I won't know until we try. You know, and that's okay. You know, it's an ever evolving and growing thing, and it's fine for that stuff to happen. And I like this super dramatic sounding music as I'm talking about shit like this. I think the YouTube video might have swapped over to a new one. Oh yeah, we are on a totally different music. The Forest, relaxing video game music. This is In the Forest from Sonic the Hedgehog. And it's almost over. What's one of the other ones that Mega sent me? Oh, hello. Let's see. Mega playing Peglin. That's not learning stuff, Mega. This is the sparkling snow and shimmering stars. Relaxing video game music. Ah, Spiritfarer. Spiritfarer. That's another game I've been hearing about, but I haven't really... I don't even think I've seen anything on it. I haven't seen anybody play it. Mega's Peglin who now? Ada. Yeah, it's just also like, you know, the whole... I think the other thing is like... Because yes, I have quote-unquote lore for my VTuber. You know, for Ari and all that kind of stuff. There's this idea behind her. Do I play it up and ham it up? Sometimes, now and again. But it's not it's not what I use to define myself. I do know of quite a few VTubers who ham up and play up the whole lore aspect, because that is a marketing thing. It's a marketing branding thing. Me, I more use it as a, you know, not necessarily a branding thing, but more of a, you know, if I decide to do any kind of roleplay thing, how would, you know, Ari react to things, you know? But most of the time, again, it's just me. It's just me. And it's also for, you know, if like I want to create something, or if somebody else wants to create something, it's like, well, there's this lore that kind of would fall in place of, you know, how she would be, or, you know, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's pretty much just me. You want to do something, do something. You know, but, and that's honestly kind of why my I wouldn't say I hate it, but I do think that it's a bit overrated for these VTuber groups, like, what is it, Vishojo and whatever the fuck else there are, you know, like these groups of VTubers, because that shit, especially when you look at the origin of that shit, it is Japanese idol culture. That is where it originated from. It is a new form of Japanese idols. And not gonna lie, the way that idol culture is and done in Japan is the most disgusting, creepy thing. And that's not to say that they're all done like that, but a lot of the content and stuff and the way that things are done, and just the way that the fan bases treat them, is very much like idol culture. And I'm not a big fan of that. So I feel real bad. Feel so bad for some of the people that go there and get stuck. What, in the VShojo stuff and like all the VTuber, you know, group stuff? Oh yeah. But there are people, and you know, who are, one, there's fans who in idol culture in general. Oh yeah. Like it, you know, and again, like a lot of the VTuber stuff, you know, a lot of the groups tend to, you know, not be as controlled by whatever company runs them as actual idol companies, but it's still not that great. But like, you have, much like in idol culture, the you know, those of the fan bases who either don't realize or often forget that these are people. These are people who live there, who have their own lives, and they're not always these characters, which again goes back to my whole thing of like, you know, having a character is fine and being a character is fine, but if you're more just being yourself, then you don't have to worry about people, you know, oh, that, you know, you don't have to worry about always being the character. You can just be yourself and it's fine. But I also just don't understand individuals who, you know, because I do have a couple of friends who are are trying their hardest to essentially get into any of these VTuber groups, you know, these essentially idol groups. Like, they're trying so hard and being so desperate in trying to be a part of one and get into one. And it's primarily because they know that will skyrocket their fucking career, essentially. It'll skyrocket their streams and their YouTube videos and all that kind of stuff. But if that's all you're trying to do, it's like, here's the thing. If, say, you know, like, let's take Mega for instance. I know I keep bringing him up, but you know, he's a really good friend. If Mega were to approach me and be like, hey, I want to start our own little like VTuber group thing, would you be in for it? I'd probably be like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it. You know, because I know Mega, you know, and I know how he would run things and how he would want things to run. And, you know, scarily, me and him have a lot of the same ideas. It's very creepy. You know, but I'd be down for that. But to just try and like, but if like, say, you know, some third party company was like, hey, we have this, you know, VTuber group, idol group that we're trying to put together. Would you want to be a part of it? I would probably really have to like do some, like tell them like, look, I'm going to do some fucking research and really consider, and I'm going to make sure that no matter what happens, I will always come out on top of this. Me and or the other, you know, people in the group come out on top, because I don't know you, I don't trust you, I don't, you know, like I would make it very clear, like I'm not sure. So for these friends of mine to be like, oh my god, you know, I have to get into this thing, I want to get in this thing because whatever, you know, because it would essentially boost themselves. It's like you're going into it for the wrong reasons. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. Because the other thing is, like, you know, again, these friends of mine, they've, you know, a couple of them have applied for open positions in these groups and have been passed over. And, you know, one of them in particular got extremely upset about it. But the thing was, one of our other friends who also applied with them made it to the second phase, like the second round of, you know, submissions and all that kind of stuff, instead of, you know, and this friend of mine, instead of being like, oh, hey, congratulations on making that, you know, it's really great that you know, I hope you make it to, you know, the next rounds and whatever, instead just constantly bitched about how they got passed over and that they, you know, they didn't accept them and blah blah blah. And it's like, your friend made it instead of you. Like, if me and Mega applied for one of those and Mega made it in and I didn't, I'd be like, hell yeah, dude, you fucking made it. You know, and I'd be helping him, you know, with phase 2. I'd be like, dude, what do you need? You know, what do you want me to help you with to get into, you know, to get past phase 2 so you can, you know, get into the third round of whatever. Like, I would be supportive and helping because that's what you do. And I, you know, would I be a little you know, would I be sad? Well, yeah, because it's like I wanted to go for this thing and I didn't get it. But at the same time, the people who did make it, I'd be like, fuck yeah, okay. You know, that means that you were more matching of what they were looking for, and that's great. I'm going to attempt somewhere else, or, you know, work on myself to, you know, so that if it comes up again, I can be more of what they're looking for. Simple as that. But yeah, like, I don't get people's crazy obsession with trying to get a part of these groups. And it's like, especially because, again, much like idol groups, I mean, I know one of the VTuber groups, like, this was like a few years ago, and I didn't really keep in too much on it. I mainly learned of most of it from like secondhand tellings from one of my friends who was really trying to get into a group. But basically on one of the collaborative streams or whatever, one of the VTubers essentially like spoke out against against the transphobes and like, you know, hey, you guys are stupid and dumb, and, you know, not necessarily that harsh, but it was like, yo, you know, let trans people be trans people, you know, let them live their lives. You know, they identify as female, then they are female. If they identify as male, then they are male, that kind of stuff. And they had to come out with essentially an apology video, I think, or do like an apology stream or something, and basically like was forced to kind of like not talk about things like that anymore, and like all this kind of shit. Like it was dumb, which again is much like idol culture. It's like you are, you have to, the company says this is what you are and how you look and what you talk about. You do not talk about anything else. You do not spout, give opinions on things and blah blah blah. Because you know we the brand say no, you are not allowed to rock the boat. Exactly. And that's not okay in my book. Because like because that costs money to them. You're right, and not necessarily that it costs money to them, but also the fact that like you could say something or do something that could upset a large portion of the fan base, which that is money, and we don't want you to, we don't want to upset the fan base. It's the same in idol culture of like a lot of idols are not allowed to have significant others, or if they do, they have to keep them super secret and not be public and open about it, because the idol culture is supposed to give the air to all of the fans of like, oh yes, there might be a chance, that you could date them, or, when they say, I love you, it's, you're the only one for me kind of thing. Like all this gross ass bullshit, and it's the same with the VTubing stuff of like, you are going to be portrayed a specific way because we say you are to be portrayed that way. And again, not saying that all of them are like that, but a lot of them are very much like that. And if they're not like that, they're very heavily inspired and influenced by the Japanese idol culture companies. In free play, I have infinite soap stuff. Nice. Unlimited power! No, you will die. Hey there, are we good? Is this a bit of your doing? Rise, Lord Vader. Meta? Da, 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 da. Ah, there you are. Ah, okay. I'm trying to think of something that's not a rant or off-topic rant. There you are. Okay. Oh man, here we go. The other day on my way home from work, uh, like all day, not necessarily all day at work, but for some reason somebody mentioned something. I don't even remember what they mentioned. So again, I was watching Twitch streams, and all of a sudden I was like, I really want cheese, crackers, and summer sausage. And yes, get it all out of your system. Sausage. Yes. Anyway, I was like, it's Christmas time, and I remember we would get summer sausage around Christmas, around the holidays, because my sister loved summer sausage. And I was like, man, I really want some summer sausage. And I wasn't entirely sure why, but it was on my, like, every now and again, I'd be, sitting there at work, and the last of my candy cane, I'm eating it now. All of a sudden I'd just be like, man, some summer sausage would be really good right now. And so I was on my way home from work, and I drove past the grocery store, and I'm sitting at the stoplight, and I'm just like, fuck it. And I cranked the wheel and went into the grocery store and was like, all right, where's the summer sausage? So I bought 2 sticks of summer sausage and a couple of things of cheese, like little Cracker Barrel cheese, and a thing of crackers. And came home, and that was my dinner. I didn't eat all of it, but I just had like sliced some summer sausage, put it on the cracker, slice some cheese, put that on the cheese, the sausage and crackers, and just munch, and it was good. And the whole time I was thinking, like, this is my sister fucking loves this shit. I wonder if she's gonna be getting some. So I sent her a message. I was like, I don't know why, but I had a sudden hankering for summer sausage, and she was like, me too. She's like, it's on my grocery list, I'm gonna get some. No, I want cheese, cracker, and summer sausage. It's good. There's something about it. I don't know what it is. It's just, it's good. It's that peppery, beefy flavor that's just really good. Now, I got some Ritz crackers because, I don't know, I like Ritz crackers when I'm eating stuff. And like I like saltine crackers too, but I don't know, summer sausage and saltine crackers just didn't really seem like it would go well together, in my personal opinion. Where am I missing? You like the round crackers? Yeah, like the round table crackers. Those are good too. But I don't know. The Ritz crackers, their butteriness just complements the cheese and sausage quite well. But it also reminded me of, like, I remember all growing up, and even as an adult, like sometimes my dad and my mom, primarily my dad, just be like, well, he was like, I just want to do like finger food for, you know, like little nibbly finger foods for dinner. So we'd go buy like a package or two of little smokies and saute them in some barbecue sauce, slice some cheese, get some crackers, maybe get some like deli meats, thinly sliced deli meats, and just make like a little tray of those. Not make sandwiches, just put, you know, cheese, cracker, and meat on you know, meat and cheese on a cracker. Eat, you know, little smokies, you know, and just have finger food as, you know, like little snacky finger foods as dinner. And we would primarily do that around the holidays, in all honesty, around Christmas time. But, oh my god, something I so badly want, but it is not an easy thing to do, and it is an all day, almost an all weekend undertaking. And you don't just make a little, you're making a lot. I so badly want homemade tamales. Oh, it's so good. It was an occasion when we made them, but it is a Christmas food that, so for one thing, you need a lot. It's not you need, but for the amount you're going to be making, you need a lot of people. I knew you're going to say that. Yeah, because I think I've mentioned it before to you. But it is a group effort. Because, I mean, traditionally, tamales was the whole family got together and made them. You know, everybody pitched in their part to make them. What am I missing? Door handles. Really? You bitch. Door hinge. Tier and wing. Well, I saw it for a brief second. It rhymes with orange. Door hinge? Rhymes with a door with orange? It kind of does. I mean, I guess with the accent I say it in. But no, so tamales are traditionally a Christmas Eve dinner or a Christmas Eve meal in Mexico or in South America, primarily Mexico. The whole family gets together. You slow cook, like traditionally it's a cow head, but just any kind of pork or chicken, like, you know, you just slow cook it in all kinds of spices and seasonings and things. And then you take corn husks, which have been, you know, you've dried them out, but you've soaked them in water so that they're pliable. And you take masa, which is a cornmeal dough, and you smear some masa in the corn husk, put your meat in it, and then roll and wrap, you know, basically roll like a little almost like a little taquito, the masa and the meat together in the corn husk, fold them, tie them up so that they don't unravel. And then you steam these tamales. You steam a shit ton of them to cook the masa all the way through. And then on the day that you eat, oh, I'm looking at the wrong wing mirror. There we go. On usually, again, traditionally Christmas Eve, you sit down with the family and you have your little, you have a few items, but one of them is the tamales, and you unwrap the corn husk, pull the masa meat out of the corn husk. You do not eat the corn husk. I've seen white people do it. They're fucking idiots. Not just white people. I've seen Europeans do it as well. Like, I've watched, like, Irish people react to, foods from around the world or whatever. And I'm just like, they're like, do you eat the husk? And they're like biting. It's like, and it's like, oh my God, you're an idiot. You're so dumb. I get it. You've never seen this before, but at least do some fucking research. Also, you don't even need to do research. Like, what in your right mind would make you think that you need to eat the husk? But anyway, so you unravel them and you eat them, and you can put a little sauce on them, like some, verde sauce, some rojo sauce. But oh my God, they're so good. And we would make them anytime we made them. We would, my parents, again, my dad would usually invite guys, from the boat who don't have family there in Hawaii, like, because, they're stationed in Hawaii. So, they can't always go visit family, and family can't always come visit them. And so, they'd be guys on the boat who are by themselves. And so my dad would just, be like, hey, you're coming over to my house for Thanksgiving. You're coming over to my house for, to help us make tamales, and then we'll send you home with some tamales, and you can have them on Christmas Eve, or you can have them before then. Doesn't matter. But basically, you're gonna, if you want some tamales, you're gonna help make some tamales. That was always the big caveat. You want tamales? You have to help make tamales. And yeah, I was an annoying little shit, and I hated making tamales because it's like, I don't want to make them. I want to eat them. I want to go play video games, and then whenever they're ready, eat the tamales. But, I still would help make some. But oh my God, they're so good. They're so good. And what's funny is, I have gone to places, back in Oregon and a couple places here that have tamales on the menu. And I will tell you this, most of those places, those aren't tamales. Or if they are, they're really shitty tamales. They aren't hard. They are just time consuming. Yeah, exactly. They are time consuming. Because again, you're not making a small batch. You're making I'd say about 10 to 15 dozens on this, and that's on the small scale. Like, it's a lot. So yeah, it's an all-day affair. Like, first you gotta slow cook the food, the meat in all the spices and juices and things. And when it comes to something like, say, the chicken, we would grind up the chicken. We got a grinder that we would make ground chicken in. And, if you want to grind the beef, you can do that too. But once everything's prepped, you mix up all the masa and stuff. And then it's literally just, everybody takes a corn husk, smears some masa, put some meat, roll it, tie it, put it in the steamer, and so everybody's doing that, and you're just sitting around a table, shooting the shit, smearing the masa, getting your ass chewed out by your grandparents or your parents because you know that's too much masa, that's too much meat. You know, you spread them thin. You don't put them like that. You put them like this. You know, whatever. You know, everybody has their way of doing it, their own. You know, and they can show. You know, you can be taught 1,000 times by them, and they will still tell you you're doing it wrong. Like, but you know, it's just how family runs, how family works. Yeah, it is an all-day affair, but my God, and the really great thing about tamales is you make a shit ton of them, and then you freeze them. You freeze those fuckers. They will keep for a year, about a year or two if you freeze them. And when you want to cook them, you know, you just pull them out, throw them in the steamer, steam them again to reheat them, and chow down. And oh my God, they're so good. And it sucks whenever you run out of them, because then you're sitting there going, fuck, I want more. But in order to make more, it's an excursion, and it's an all-day event again. Like, but oh my God, if you've never had tamales and you know of some place that makes like traditional tamales, or you like have a friend whose family is going to be making tamales, oh my God, fucking go. But if it's a friend who makes who's making tamales, and like they're doing it with their family, cordially invite yourself, like offer and be like, hey, I would like to help you make them, because the making part is also part of the experience, in my personal opinion. But offer and be like, hey, I would like some tamales, but can I help make them? And if you offer to help them make them, they'll probably let you come over and help make them, and then they'll probably give you quite a bit instead of, because, I'll admit, we've made tamales before and given them to friends and neighbors and stuff, but those friends and neighbors didn't help us make them, so we didn't give them a lot. But the ones who helped us make, they got to walk away with quite a bit. Like lumpia. Oh yeah, it's just like lumpia. Oh, that's something else. I miss. I really want lumpia. Fucking Auntie's lumpia. Auntie Nora's lumpia. Oh, so good. You want lumpia? You help make the lumpia. Exactly. You want lumpia? You help make the lumpia. Lumpia is a Filipino dish that super simple, to be honest. Like, it's this Final Fantasy 8. Oh no, it's Lost Girl Deltarune. Sounds very much like Final Fantasy 8 music, not gonna lie. Lumpia is very, well, it really is very simple. It's a ground, I think it's like ground pork, or maybe a pork and beef combination. I love the Sad Deer song. Aww. Poor Noel. But lumpia, yeah, is like, I wouldn't necessarily say it's like Filipino tamales, but it is a Filipino, food that basically you take essentially wonton wrappers, like kind of thing, and you take a ground pork mixture that's mixed with like a couple of vegetables that are like super finely chopped and mixed in with it, and some spices and seasonings, And then you take the lumpia wrapper, again, soak it for a little bit, put some meat in, roll it up, and then chill it. And then whenever you're ready to serve, you deep fry that shit. Well, you pan fry it, but essentially deep fry. You deep fry that shit, and oh my god, it's so good. And when it's fresh, it's the best. Like fresh fried, it's so good. And there was a friend of the family, the wife of one of the guys on the boat that my dad was on, Auntie Nora. Everybody called her Auntie Nora, even though she wasn't everybody's auntie. But anyway, yeah, she may have been a part of like some of the Filipino mafia or something. We don't know. We're not sure. We don't say. But we had some possible thoughts. But they would host, big barbecue parties back home. And they would cook so much food. And it was funny because her husband, the guy on the boat, was from Arkansas, I think. Either Arkansas or Alabama, one of the two. And so he's this, red hair, white guy, married, to this very short little Filipino lady. And the reason he absolutely loved and adored her was because she could fucking cook and he could fucking eat. He was stick skinny, but my God, could he eat? Like Gabriel Iglesias, when I was talking about how much he could eat. Yeah, this guy could probably keep up with Gabriel. And he was stick skinny. So every time, they had, their shindigs at their house, she would make all kinds of food. And a lot of the food was Filipino food. And oh my God, I loved going to those parties. Because, it's a bunch of sailors, yes. It's pronounced Arkansas. It was a bunch of, submariners. So, most of them were getting drunk, which nothing wrong with that. But, me being well underage, I didn't drink. But I loved going over there because, my God, the food. It was so good. And she would make just piles of lumpia. And it was so good. And the thing was, she never told anybody her recipe for lumpia. Until my dad essentially was like, look, you're going to tell me the fucking recipe to lumpia. Because she was super secretive about it. And then whenever we found out what it was in it, it's like, that's it? That's all that's in there? And so that's all that's in there? It's like, okay. But she would just make so much of it, and it was just so good. And nowhere else, I've gotten lumpia from other places back home. It's good lumpia, but it's not her lumpia. Her lumpia was the best. It's love that makes it delicious. Yeah. And a little bit of LSD. No, I'm kidding. Why does your food taste so great? Oh, it's just love and LSD, but just mostly love. But yeah. But lumpia is, it's a Filipino dish, but there's two types of lumpia. There's savory lumpia, which is usually like a pork or beef lumpia. And then there's also a sweet lumpia, or like a dessert lumpia. And I've had a dessert lumpia, and the dessert lumpia is really good too. But the dessert lumpia is, essentially, the same wrapper, deep fried, all that kind of stuff, but it's usually like a fruit base inside. Usually it's like they'll mix in like a apple butter or like an apple puree with like bananas, and then they deep fry them. Oh, they're so good. And sometimes you can get them drizzled in chocolate. Oh no, it's so good. You know, Mahina, what I also kind of want, and this one we could do while I'm out there. You know, not to say that it was a terrible Thanksgiving, but I kind of would like some turkey with your dressing, your homemade dressing. It'd be real tasty. Also, Mahina, am I supposed to tell my sister, or are you going to tell my sister that I'm going out there for New Year's? That might be arranged. Yeah, it's the holidays. I've basically said fuck my diet for now. Like, it's the holidays. I don't think she's watching my stream. She doesn't usually watch my streams. Like, she may watch a VOD, but she doesn't really watch it because, you know, she doesn't really get the whole streaming thing, and that's not really her thing. Yeah, I know your dressing's not keto, but like I said, I've kind of said screw my diet, like, for now, because I mean, I had a fucking ahi poke bowl today for lunch because it's where the integration crew was ordering from. And I was like, I want one. Also, I kind of put a bit of a hold on my factor deliveries because I'm like, I have not been very good on my diet lately. So, plus, while I'm out there, don't exactly want food to be delivered to my apartment while I'm not here because then it will go bad, and I don't want that. No, and I don't want to pay for something that I'm not consuming. So I kind of put a bit of a hold because, again, there's also the fact that, like, there's so many holiday goodies out right now that I really want, and that's, you know. But once I get back, I'm gonna go back on the diet. I'm at least trying to keep somewhat good in that, you know, what I'm consuming is not what how or what I used to consume. Like, I'm not going full send like I was doing before. I'm keeping my portions, you know, moderate. And the things I am eating are not, you know, crazy bad. Trying to keep it as, you know, more real food as possible. You know, and if I like, you know, oh yeah, you know, like the candy cane. Yeah, I had a candy cane. It was one candy cane. I'm not eating like, you know, 4. I'm also trying to keep in the whole, you know, intermittent fasting thing, like keeping my time frames up. Although when I'm out there in Hawaii, that's probably going to go out the window as well. Because snackums. That sounds good. The porch pirates will be well fed. Actually, so far I have not had another incident of someone stealing my food. I think it's primarily because whoever stole it didn't realize what it was. Because I mean, it just says factor 75 on the box, or factor underscore, I think. Doesn't really have anything that says like what it is, so they probably were just like, oh sweet, grabbed it and then got it home or whatever and opened it and realized it was nothing but food and was like, oh fuck. So they probably, if they see that box again, you're probably just gonna be like, yeah, no. Because, I mean, they can't exactly resell food. Because that's the thing about the porch pirates, is usually it's either they steal something because it's obviously something that they want, like, ooh, a free iPhone sitting on the porch or whatever, or they steal packages because and open them to then resell and like pawn off whatever's inside it. But if they get a bunch of fresh food, you can't resell that. Nobody's gonna buy that. So it's one of those, like, either they can consume it themselves or they probably threw it away, which sucks. But hey, it is what it is. And I'm just playing Dokkan Battle, listening to this and reading a thing. My focus is all over the place. I'm enjoying the full mind wander. Let your mind wander, man. Free flow, free thought. Also, I got something stuck in my throat. Goddamn. Yeah, like how beggars will refuse food given to them because they can't give it to the people who drive them there that they pay. I wouldn't necessarily say that's all beggars, but there's some people who, yeah. I think it's mostly more of, because it's like, okay, yes, free food, but especially here in the States, the like homeless shelters and things, a lot of them, unfortunately, like they charge you for shit. And so, or or they're just super dangerous, so homeless people don't go to them. So instead they're trying to get money to like rent a motel room for the night because it's safer than going to a shelter, which is kind of sad and unfortunate. If you think about it, it's like, so that's why they would prefer money over food. Because then it's also like, okay, if you give me the, it's the same with, like canned good donation drives and stuff, like food donation centers yes, donating canned goods and all that kind of stuff is nice and it's fine. But a lot of, food drive locations will often tell people like, don't give us canned goods, give us money. Because a lot of organizations, like food drive organizations, actually have setups with farms and farming companies, farming groups, to where it's like every $1 can get like a box of fresh fruits and vegetables and fresh foods that they can then give to people who need it. Like $1 or $2 gets them that. Whereas with canned goods, they have often said like 80% of the canned goods that they get are expired and they can't use it, so they throw it out. Like people unfortunately give them a lot of expired foods, and it's like instead give them it's the same with like, okay, buy this product and we'll plant a tree. Buy this $35 thing or this $100 thing and we will plant a tree for every one sold. Instead of, the one organization where donate $1, we plant a tree. Every dollar you give us, it's $1 we use to plant a tree. $1 a tree. So instead of $100 to plant one tree, you can give $100 to plant 100 trees. Makes more sense to me. You know, so it's the same with the food drives. Like, yes, we appreciate you giving us, you know, canned goods and, you know, things like that. But, and another thing is, it's a lot of processed foods, like heavily processed foods that people donate because those are shelf stable. Instead of, you know, so not a lot of fresh fruits, foods, and, you know, vegetables and meats and things go in. But if you donate the money, then they can use that to buy what is necessary at prices that they, you know, that they've marked out with, you know, organizations to then get that food to the people who need it. Fresh ingredients, fresh things. Which a brain train be multi-track drifting. They have the food, they don't have the money to get the food where it needs to be because travel is expensive. That as well. Wait, really? What sort of logic is there to give expired? My brain is yelling. Because people are, you know, a lot of people just don't think. They're like, oh yeah, well, you know, you know, I don't know. People are dumb. Some people are dumb. Some people just don't think. Like, oh, well, you know, or they'd think, well, you know, I'm not gonna eat it, but there's someone desperate enough who needs it. And it's like, no, legally they cannot give that away, period. It's stupid, I know, but can't fix stupid, unfortunately. Breath of the Wild? Hey, I got it right. People see something in their cupboard and don't want to waste food, so donate it without checking to see if it is expired. That too. Like, people just don't realize it. Oh, I'm not even using my best gear? There, that's better. Oh yeah, I was wondering why, like, I'm like, it's the best, but like, it doesn't feel. Oh, look at that. So much better. Oops. Tried on multiple occasions to date the cans. Unfortunately, they only like me as a friend. Don't worry. I'm pretty sure if you go to onlycans.com, you'll find that special can for you. By the way, Only Cans is an actual game. It's an actual video game. And yes, it is a parody of OnlyFans and all that kind of stuff, but it also has some like weird ass fucking lore. Yes, there's lore to it because what indie game doesn't have lore? I use OnlyFans so I can find the right kind of pudding. When I need to get the freshest seafood ingredients, I go to onlyclams.com. When I need a guitar, so I use only bands. When I'm trying to get new supplies for the most vibrant and brightest of wax-based coloring utensils, I go to Only Crayons. When I'm trying to repopulate my species that's been wiped out by a tyrannical space dictator, I go to Only Saiyans. Okay, I think I'm done. When I need to prop something up, I use Only Stands. When I'm looking for more people to help me with my put on a shadow puppet performance, I go to Only Hands. When I'm having a bad time, I use Only Sands. Ah, aha. Ta-da. What am I?